Well, hello, good people and Eagle fans. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. I hope you all are having a great day. We're doing a little something different here. It's the off season. This is the first Sunday without any football out here. And so we will have our members call-in show in 3 hours from now. We'll be going off at 5 o'clock. So I hope you all join us because I see Chris Mays in the house. There's Jeff Lee. My name is Jeff. And then there's Momo. So here's the problem. Here's the problem. I tell you what, I love my people. I love my people, okay? I love interacting with my people. I love hanging with my people and things. But sometimes things get to be a little bit too cray-cray when you get everybody in there. I mean, we all know Momo is crazy. He's a freaking nut. And Momo was about showing his ass, okay? He's trying to make a name for himself. Not disrespecting him. I understand what he's trying to do is he's taking his opportunities to try and get more publicity. But what happens is it takes away from a flow of the show. Again, Momo, no disrespect, bro. But, you know, it's my show. It's not the Momo show. If you want the Momo show, you do the Momo show on your channel where you go through and rant. Dwayne Sweeney, what's up, man? Sweetney, what's going on? How are you doing? Welcome to the chat and stuff. So when we get too many people going, it's hard for us to go through and necessarily have a flow. So there's a time and place for that, and that's 5 o'clock today. And I'm sure Momo's going to be coming in. Now, Mark, can I ask you something? Can I ask you something? And it's like, okay, let me go take a nap because it's going to go on for hours. Now, I got my buddy, Game Time Bryan. Now, Game Time.
No, he's out for blood today.
Shit.
See, all kidding aside, we do have some stuff to talk about. Mark Holmes.
Shit.
Good afternoon, sir. How
well, okay. So you come in like that.
I'm muted.
I'm muted. Hold on. See, I'm not used to not being the star of the show where I got control of it. Now I got to come in. My shit's muted. I don't know about it. I don't even know where the unmute button is because I'm never muted.
The deal, Mark. I have to mute when I have these Zoom calls because we got people coming in with shit in the background. So I just mute everybody.
And then you get hey Bryan, can I ask you something?
Yeah, what's up?
Can I ask you something? Well, you got people that come in with their own agendas and things like that, and I'm not mad at them, but it's hard for people watching the show to get into a flow of things, okay? And, you know, it's great to have a free-for-all, but see, people who are on don't understand that it's almost like you're watching a mob. You can't really necessarily get stuff. So a lot of times you get on the show, we can't actually interact, and I can't put a foot in your ass about some of the thoughts that you have. So I wanted to start doing one-on-ones where we're fighting it out. We're fighting it out not as enemies, fighting it out as guys that are trying to come up with a solution to fix the damn Cowboys. Because I don't know about you. I'm sick of this shit, man.
I'm sick of it, but I'm holding my breath, Mark. I'm holding my breath because we're hearing they're operating differently, right? Are they operating differently, Mark? Let's start there. In your opinion, are the Cowboys operating differently, and where do we differ? I'm curious to know. Are you drinking the Kool-Aid, or what's going on here?
I am. First of all, let me be clear here. Part of the problem for Cowboys fans and Cowboys Nation is people like me. I'm going to take some responsibility because we are so fucking thirsty that, and with lack of moves that the Cowboys make, that we always are going to look at the bright side of what it is. You know, when we hired Matt Eberflus, we said, hey, Matt Eberflus, you know, he did some great things on defense when he was with the Colts and stuff. Right. And we look back and say, here's some of the things that he did, okay? And then we get excited. We say, well, look, Kenneth Murray last year, you know, he had like 89 tackles. He was a team captain. He's coming here bringing leadership. He's got experience and stuff. You know, we got Sandbags, okay, Jack Sanborn.
Sandbags. Is that your nickname?
That's my nickname for him. This is a guy who's coming with Matt Everfuss. He understands the system and things. He's going to fit right in. We try and fit the pieces to say, this is why it's good. And people listen and people believe and want to believe. We all want to believe that our team is going to finally get shit right. And maybe we don't look at it on the bad side and say, well, Jack Sanborn, he's just kind of a special teams guy. What makes us think that he's going to be able to now be Brian Urlacher? Right?
Yeah.
We don't look at it and say, Matt Everfuss as a head coach, sorry, dude, you sucked. You lost the team in the locker room. Maybe that'll translate to being here, right?
Yeah, and that's, again, I don't know about you. I'm getting trolled a lot with putting trust in a Christian Parker, right? And why you trust him. Well, we don't know the end result. If we all did, we'd be going to the casino and dropping the money. We don't really know how this is going to work out. Mm-hmm. But, getting back to my question, are you drinking the Kool-Aid? Meaning the Joneses, how they're operating. They did release Eberflus early in the process.
They did.
That is not something that they normally do, correct?
No, because actually they came out doing cowboy shit and first said, we'll have a decision in about, 10 to 12 days. And I'm like, oh, we ain't changed shit. It's like, you and I talked this morning, and I said the thing that pisses me off more than anything is that the Cowboys are the last-minute mother humpers out here. And this shit pisses me off, okay? And so for those out there looking for blood, thinking that I'm going to beat the shit out of Bryan, it's not Bryan that I want to beat the shit out of. It's the Cowboys and some of the shit that they do. Am I thinking that they're doing things different? I'm hoping that they are. But we're going to know in about 4 weeks how they are. Because people don't realize that 3 weeks from today is the beginning of legal tampering.
Legal tampering. The 19th,
that's when you can start talking to free agents. You can't make the contract, signed until that Tuesday, but it's 3 weeks from now. 3 weeks. And I believe come Tuesday is when the franchise tag is you're able to put it on for 10 days.
Now people get all worked up. Oh my God, there goes Dallas. Well, you have to put the franchise tag. What that does is that establishes a baseline. Again, Mulligetta, and this is, again, where I think me and Mark differ. I'm not a big Mulligetta fan. He gets his players' money. I will say that.
That's his job.
Okay, that's his job. Do you think it's his job to maybe lay out the landscape of a player's career, or do you think he's just solely about getting the highest dollar possible? Because I don't know about you, I saw Micah at the Pro Bowl sliding around on a Jazzy, and he wasn't hanging with Green Bay people. He was all over his Dallas people. Mm-hmm. And, behind closed doors and, the circles, he never wanted to leave Dallas. But the agent was throwing the money at him. Mm-hmm. And that's, to your point, I get it. To my point is sometimes less is more.
Well, yeah.
Right?
That's kind of like what I always say, that the lowest price isn't always the lowest price.
Bingo.
Okay.
Yes.
For those out there, I know it sounds retarded, but when you go to Home Depot and you buy a faucet, you see a faucet that's, $29. Man, that's cheap. I'm going to buy that one. And you look at another one, I say, you might want to buy this $69 one. You're like, what are you kidding me? This is only $29. But you're going to have that sucker is going to break down in a year, or the plastic is going to start coming apart. And then you have to pay a plumber to come back and fix it, so it's going to cost you more money. And in the same sense, when you think about going to Green Bay, where you've got income taxes and things, and maybe you're not there doing your podcast the same way you were in Dallas, and you don't have the things that you used to do, all the places to go and hang out, because Green Bay only has like 50,000 people. I'm sure there's not too many strip clubs or nightclubs and places like that when you're there for 6 months for the year, it ain't a whole lot to do.
He's probably getting in and getting out. And
of course, he's not in Green Bay now.
There's nothing wrong with that. But my issue is that this is where I think Mulligetta, listen, he's a He's the richest agent going.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe that Dallas is going to get a deal with George Pickens? Yet another Mulligetta client that we're hearing rumors of 40 million, right? Now that'll be the starting point, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah.
And I
But
made
here's the
that
thing.
the thumbnail, just say that's the hot topic. Everybody
You know
wants to
what?
know: are we bringing back George Pickens? And how is it going to be, Mark?
Here's what I'm going to say. Okay, let me pull this up real quick, because see, everybody gets all worked up about numbers. Okay, let's look at CDs. Okay, CD is getting 34 million, right?
Yeah.
And the difference between 34 million and 40 million, is it really that much?
Well, on
Because
paper, it looks like it is each year, right? I mean, it's not just one year.
But here's the thing though, okay? It's all the price of doing business. Because see, for those out there that say, well, you can't pay him that much. Okay. How about last year I spent $8.5 million on Michael Gallup on dead money? How about last year I spent $5 million last year on Brandon Cooks on dead money? Right? Isn't that $13.5 million right there for two guys that aren't even on your team?
Right. Yeah.
I spent a third-round pick to get Jalen Tolbert. I spent a fourth-round pick to get Mingo Dingo. I spent 3 years of time trying to find somebody who could play like George Pickens. And this is where it really pisses me off about, I hear Stink talking about, oh, he took some plays off. You know what? The guy who took a couple of plays off doubled the production of anybody we had those other 3 years.
Yeah, and again, let's just rewind just a few short months ago, Mark, when we were I don't know if I want to say laughing stock, but people were laughing that us Cowboy fans were saying, oh, my God, we got George Pickens. They were all expecting disaster, right?
Yeah.
And again, he had an unbelievable, I think he was third in receiving, maybe second, but I think second or third in the whole NFL, which is why we all saw this coming. Did I not? I mean, I did say before the year that Dak wouldn't be MVP, but he would be in the conversation. And yet he threw for over 4,500 yards. Mm-hmm. Still only has 2 playoff wins. We get it. But we all could see the writing on the wall that this was going to be a good fit in Dallas. And now we have a big decision to make. And I look at
I don't see it as a big decision.
Well, okay. Are the Dallas Cowboys ownership going to be on a yacht the first week of free agency like they are
this is
year?
Where, like I said, in 4 weeks, we're going to know what the fuck we're doing. Okay. So, but let me go back to something else here too, because what I was saying about the money, you got to understand, CeeDee Lamb, it's not like he just got his contract. What we know from the time that Troy Aikman became a quarterback and had his first contract, the numbers continue to go up on a yearly basis. In 10 years ago, I think Drew Brees was the highest paid at like $25 million a quarterback, and we're at 60 right now. The numbers always go up. So CeeDee Lamb is at the point right now where he's already been in 2 years of his contract. Okay, after next year, if CeeDee Lamb is still playing at an elite level, he's probably going to be getting another contract extension. Wouldn't you think?
You would think so.
So for everybody who's like, oh my God, CeeDee Lamb's going to be mad that George Pickens got more money. No, because if you're getting more money, guess what? Everybody else is getting more money. Players don't get pissed off about that.
This is where this is just the Dallas doing business. They have to franchise tag him. Now, like, what's Dallas going to do? Because they're like the number one team to use the tag. They use it in leverage.
It costs them.
And it always costs them. But next collective bargaining agreement, the players union is really trying to get rid of the franchise tag because they don't want no part of it, right? They want no part of it. But as a fan, I'm glad it's there because there's already enough change. I don't know about you. I don't like the constant change of players. It's like whatever happened to the days where you draft guys, you sign guys, and that's your team for a few years. Now it's like every year. We were told about Rico Dowdle. Oh, my God, you guys made a mistake by letting Rico go out the back door, and he signed with Carolina. Well, he's so good that he's already out on the open market.
Right.
And if you wanted him, you could get him. But
Yeah.
it does seem like that Javonte Williams and the Cowboys are talking. Now, we've heard this before. This is why I say, I'll believe it when I see it, because whether you like Javonte or not, that's not the question to me, Mark. The question is Dallas needs to make a decision early
and get it done.
With it,
yeah.
And ride with it. And listen, you're always going to make mistakes. What's your thought on Javonte? Well, I want to get back to George,
Well, here's the thing with Williams, what I'll say is, now, typically, you have the 4-year window with the running back.
Right.
But in most cases, after 4 years, running backs go downhill. And that's where I was on the fence with Zeke Elliott when we were looking at doing the extension, because I look at it historically, usually running backs don't get the big bag.
Right.
There are exceptions where you have Derrick Henry and things like that. But typically after 4 years, if you've been used on a regular basis, you go downhill. You can look at Miles Sanders right now, and you can't say that Miles Sanders is going to have great seasons going forward. I don't think you look at that. So the difference with Javonte Williams is, because he was injured in his second year, he basically lost that season. The next season wasn't much, so he doesn't have a whole lot of miles on him. And the kind of number that you're looking at for him, if you're talking about $7 million, I think that's worthwhile.
Yeah.
For what you
I
get.
don't know if I want it. Yeah, that's a definite do. Like a guy like Javonte, he's going to get you 3. He reminds me of a poor man's Emmett, just because he always goes forward. You don't see him getting tackles for loss, which is huge. If you do, if you get your average every time, you got a first down. So 3.4 yards carry, 3.4. So I'm okay with bringing him back. I mean, that's not going to stop me from maybe. I know people don't want to hear this, but if we do our job in free agency, which is a big if, then take the best. If Jeremiah Love is there, I know nobody wants a running back, but he's a game breaker. And you see what they're doing.
I hear
Detroit,
you, but
go do what you got to do.
But here's my problem. We have, in the totality of Tony Romo and Dak Prescott, always been one of the top offenses in football, pretty much, right?
Agreed.
And what has it gotten us? 4 fucking playoff wins.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that brings me to Dak. I know this is a touchy, his subject, but Dak Prescott, what his cap value, his cap number is this year? It's $74 million.
Yeah. Okay. You know that's all funny money, though, right?
No, but that's his cap number.
That's his cap number. But you can restructure.
Okay, how does that work? Just explain it to the people on the cheat sheets, because I don't know how that works. So, what is that ultimately going to do to? I know it's going to lower the cap. How much is it going to lower, and what's it going to do long term?
$30-some million. Now, let me explain something real quick here. Okay, so what happens with the Eagles is when and everybody's like, how are the Eagles signing everybody? They keep, they just gave Saquon an extension. What the Eagles do is basically they put the restructured money in right now. If you look at Jalen Hurts 3 years down the road from now, he's a $97 million cap hit. That way you're keeping the number low. The Cowboys put the restructures in the contract, and people have a misnomer about what a restructure is. That, when people were asking, CD, would you restructure? They don't have to ask him. He's got nothing to do with it. It's just how you account the money. And if we go through and we say the Cowboys are in cap hell, we'll take a look at the Eagles in 28, where they've got almost $300 million in cap money, because they've already basically flipped all the triggers on the restructures.
Right.
So Dak Prescott, let me pull the Cowboys over the cap.
70.68,
Right.
His guaranteed salary is $40 million this year.
Basically, between Dak and CD, you can get about $50 million. Just those two. $38
million, right. As it stands right now, everybody, and thanks everybody in the chat for, we'll get to your comments and super chats. Dak Prescott, $74 million and 68,000. CD Lamb, $38,428,000.
Again. So here's the difference between Cowboys and Eagles, because people will say, oh, well, Jalen Hurts, his cap number is only like $25 million. Yeah, because they already have the restructure put into it. So
I believe he has a $97 million cap hit in 2029. So
yeah,
they're
he
going to
does.
have to make a decision, right?
But here's the thing that's kind of crazy though. If you look at the Eagles in 29, they got a whole lot of cap hits that you know are going to be guys that aren't going to be there. Saquon Barkley,
so they'll have to
Lane
push that
Johnson,
out, right? Explain how that works. They're going to push that out.
Well,
right?
that's what they've done is they've put voidable years in which they say we'll pay there. But here's the caveat to it. And what people don't seem to understand is the salary cap's going to go up about $25 million this year. The salary cap, if you all remember, was at $183 million in 2020 because of COVID. In that time, it's gone up $117 million, and that's in 5 years.
Now it's what?
It'll be about 300. They haven't got the exact number just yet, but they're expecting 25.
307, something like that. Yeah.
So here's what you're going to look at in 2029. It's going to be probably about $400 million. So if you're looking at $40 million now, that's a lot. When you have $400 million, it's only 10% of the cap. It's a lot lessened. And that's my point about if you end up getting $40 million, I'm not thinking that they're going to pay $40 million, but even if you get $40 million on George Pickens, if I use Jamar Chase's contract, who's got the highest one, his cap hit number was 23 the first year. It's only 26 next year, which is less than the franchise tag. Even the third year, without even using the restructuring, it's 33. So why would it make any sense to go ahead and say we're going to pay George Pickens, $28 million on a franchise tag, and if he plays really well, then we're going to have to get him a contract next year that's going to be even bigger.
Listen, I actually think, and real quick, Walker Wade with the super chat. Thank you. Wade says Dallas is going balls deep in free agency.
They have to. You know what? And this is another thing that pisses me off. I don't know if you've gotten this today, but I'm the angry black Cowboy fan today. Okay, and maybe that's what this segment needs to be, is just pissing Mark Holmes off. But what pisses me off is where we got Catboy, and I've been on the fence with Catboy, where Catboy's like, well, we don't want to be in cap hell, and then we're not gonna have a bad, we're gonna have a bad team because we don't have any money. It's like, dude, we missed the playoffs the last 2 fucking years. We missed the playoffs the last 2 fucking years.
CZ says, sorry, game time, but what fan worries about the cap in 2029?
I don't.
What's the dead cap hit in 2020? Dude needs a clue. He's no Howie, meaning our guy. Rob A. Hey, Mark, who gives a F about 2029?
Well, hold on. Hold on. You know what? I'm pissed. Oh, wait. You guys got angry Mark today. For you Eagle fans out there that keep thinking that Howie can't do any wrong, explain to me this one, please. Please explain to me this one.
Room closet Howie.
You took a 3rd round pick and said, let's go get Jalen Phillips, right? 3rd round pick, Jalen Phillips. He comes in 8 games, gets 6.5 sacks. That's pretty good. Right? But then they say they can't afford to sign him. Right? But now y'all are talking about going out and getting Max Crosby. Max Crosby, you're going to have to give up at least a 1st round pick and pay him more than Jalen Phillips. How does that make sense?
I mean, and that's where maybe we disagree. I actually think, and I'm not here, I think the Eagles are in trouble. But let me finish, Eagle fans. Calm down. But I do think Max Crosby makes more sense for them because they have all those picks. Again, they have a lot of mid-round picks that it makes more sense for them to take a flyer on a Max Crosby because, and again, Eagle fans, don't shoot the messenger. This is believe it or not, this is kind of a prove-it year for Jalen. If he doesn't bounce back under the new regime.
They're rebuilding.
They're looking a way out. If not, they're expecting Jalen to pick up where he left off with Kellen Moore, right? Because last year was a disaster, even though they still won a division, which goes to the talent that they had last year. Now, we know, Mark, right, from way back in the 90s, right, where the talent, it goes quickly, right? What happens when you win a Super Bowl, Mark, is what?
Okay, no, let me stop you here for a second here, because here's where it can't make sense for the Eagles. Okay, now we've gone through the Cowboys, and we know we can get $31 million for Dak. We can get $19 million for CD. We can get money, like $5 million from the wide receiver. We can get, $10-12 million from, we can get $140 million in cap space if we want to, right? Here's the problem for the Eagles. They can't do that. They have $20 million plus they'll get the 25 that the salary cap goes up. But if we look at the restructures, you know what they get for restructure of Jalen Hurts?
What's that? Please share.
0. They can't restructure his contract. They cannot get any other money off of Jalen Hurts. You know what they get off of A.J. Brown?
Well,
$200,000.
I want to go there real quick. Chris May is a member for 22 months.
Now,
I wait to see the clowns, what the clowns do, so we could talk about that. DC for life.
Now, here's the crazy. I've never even seen this before. Okay, with Dallas Goedert, who has a void year. Okay, technically he's not on the not there. His cap number is $20 million. If they restructure, it'll cost them another $900,000. Okay, so looking at this, the most money that they can get in a restructure is $6.7 million on Michael Carter II. That's it. Everybody else is under $1 million. All of their restructures have already all been hit. So I ask you now, with Max Crosby, who is $31 million for this year, how are the Eagles getting him? How are they affording him?
Well, I don't know. And that's a question for I don't know. I just know that not money-wise, but the talent and player-wise, it makes sense. Rob A says, "Send me the link game time." So
no, it's not that. No, it's not that kind of thing, there, bro. This is me in game time. This is me in game time.
We'll
the beef.
Later. We'll do one later.
Yeah. This is us. But then, but here's the thing: if they move on from A.J. Brown, they're gonna have to take a dead money hit unless the team says, "Okay, we'll take on some of their contract." So. The Eagles, as much as everybody thinks, well, Howie's doing great things, Howie's missed on quite a few people. Remember when they traded for Jahan Dotson? How'd that work out?
Yes.
They gave up the same compensation that we did for George Pickens.
Yeah. Well, you brought up A.J. Brown. The latest rumor. Now, again, I don't know if you're aware of it. Jesse, if you're watching somewhere. The Giants, the term balls deep.
Yeah.
Or it might be going in, supposedly are very interested in A.J. Brown. Again, I was on record to say I think he's getting traded, but after seeing A.J. and Micah Kumbaya in it, maybe he's going to give it another go under a new regime. Don't really know. Maybe he's playing nice. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Mark, what's your, and we'll go to Eagle, AJ, and then we'll go back to Cowboys. But I kind of hope he stays with the Eagles because it's drama.
You know what really pisses me off. I'm sorry, I keep saying what pisses me off. But,
there you go.
But no. You know what pisses me off is everybody has been going through and talking about how bad George Pickens is. Oh my God, he's a cancer. He's a bad guy. You know what? I'm sitting here looking at Stephon Diggs, who's got not one, but two criminal trials that he's got to deal with. Just got arraigned. Right? That's a bad guy right there. Okay, wait. I'm looking at Brandon Ayuk, who got paid and then decided, fuck it, I'm not going to show up. I'm looking at Rashid Rice, who's got to go spend a month in jail out here with his hoochie mamas and everything else, popping shit out here. I got A.J. Brown on the sidelines reading books and basically saying, let's, trade me. But everybody talking about George Pickens as a bad guy. I saw a video yesterday where a guy asked him about his faith and things. They said, would you rather have $12 million or have dinner with Jesus? He said, I'd rather have dinner with Jesus. And the guy went, and George Pickens went on about his faith and things. But I'm sitting here looking at Stephon Diggs, he's flipping women left and right and shit and babies everywhere else and shit. And ain't nobody talking about that shit. It's only George Pickens is the bad guy. You know what? Give me 11 George Pickens out on that field, and I bet you I win.
Walker Wade says Eagles are screwed. We're a clean sweep in these chumps. Wade, thank you for the super chat. I have not even gotten that far. Again, the NFC East schedule is ridiculous again.
Yeah,
for everybody, not just Dallas. I like how Dallas got tough.
Hey, man.
Okay, well, everybody.
Bro,
does.
you got to understand, the NFC East is the one that makes the money for everybody. Nobody gives a rat's ass about watching, Buffalo playing Miami and shit.
Don't.
They want to see the Cowboys playing. They want to see the Cowboys and the Eagles. They want to see the Commanders with the left hand up failing. That's what everybody wants to see.
Here we come, Mark.
What?
CZ says, you want to talk about bad morality? Let's talk about Dak banging strippers in a parking lot. Get the fuck out of here. That's what he said.
Okay. Yeah, well.
It's actually right. The strip joint is right across from Michael Irvin's place. Just if you ever want to go. It's right across the street.
It was?
Yeah, it's literally right across.
Bro, why do you say something? We were in Michael Irvin's place. What the? See, now I got a beef with you. We had a strip club across the street from Michael Irvin.
You go to Ojo's Locos until you got in there, and then you're like, yeah.
Oh shit! I was sitting here today thinking. I was talking to Marcus Blackman and saying, man, I got to get back next year. And then back in my mind, I was like, yeah, we got to go back there with Wade, man. That place.
We're going to Ojo's Locos. Anytime you could go get tacos where they have to have an armed guard, I'm in.
Not just an arm. No, listen, we talking about semi-automatics, man. That shit. I walked in. I'm like, where the fuck are we going? I don't think we're gonna find anything like that in Pittsburgh, though.
Yeah, we're gonna get. I ain't eating no damn sandwich with French fries on it. So just.
Well, then then don't go to Pittsburgh, there, bro. Then you just don't. That's what they do there.
Tony Boo, thank you, brother. Hit the like.
Coleslaw and French fries on your sandwich.
Yeah, and I love coleslaw, so I'll probably eat it. But I'm just saying, I'm not. That's not that. They don't even like toast the roll though. It's called Panini. I'm not here to hammer.
Yeah, we got Panini brothers.
So I'll try it.
Look, we got it a block away. So it's going to be right there. So we can go in. Now, don't get us in trouble and get us kicked out of Pittsburgh the first night because you say Panini Brothers sucks.
No. I haven't had it yet. I'm just saying I kind of like something toasted. If I want to have a white bread sandwich, I'll have it at home. But whatever. Talking about the draft. Nice transition, Mark. We didn't even rehearse this. Talking about the draft. We're going to Pittsburgh. I know we got people in the chat going. We're going. Possibly primetime Phil. I know loyal Cowboys going and company. My question to you is: are we going to pick a 12 and 20, or are we going to screw it up? Or we? I mean, like, what's your thought? Because I know you're anti moving up, correct?
Oh no, bro! All I have to do is say it's Morris Claiborne. Okay,
you can't be scared.
No. Listen, you know what? If we had 12 picks, I'd say go right ahead, bro. We got 2 number ones and then we'll have shit till 4th round. If we screw the pooch on that,
I ran the math.
Oh Lord, here we go. Yeah, there is no guarantee on any player.
I ran the math. Do you want? Well, okay. So are you? I know you're not draft. I'm not trying to put you in a position to be draft guy, but just believe me when I tell you, there's 3-4 absolutes in this draft. Probably 3. Only 3. And even those 3 absolutes, they're picking short arms. B.A.M. out of Miami's got short arms. There's only 3 real talents. And Mendoza, as much as I love Mendoza, he doesn't necessarily match up to the great quarterbacks working. I mean, he's going to be good. He's a winner, right? That's what everybody says. He's a winner. But in another draft, maybe not last year's draft, but in another draft, he ain't going to match up with Aikman, Elway, and all those. That's a different stratosphere, like Marino and all those.
Let me give you my argument.
Caleb Downs is who we need with the Christian Parker.
I hear what you're saying, but see, here's my thought. When I look at this defense, we need more than one guy. We had one of the best in the business, one guy on defense, and how did that help us with Micah Parsons? We need more than just one guy. We need linebackers. We need edge rushers. We need cornerbacks. And see, this is my problem with us saying, let's go ahead and get Max Crosby. You're going to spend $35 million a year. I mean, that's not the cap number, but basically that's what you're spending money-wise. And I'm going to take a first-round pick, which means I'm going to have less money that I can spend on other guys. I'm not going to have that first-round pick for somebody else, which maybe that, if this draft is a lot of guys that are all clumped together, maybe you move back and you pick up an extra second or a third.
Here's the problem, though, Mark. And you know how this works. People have to want to move up to your spot. So, to move up.
I agree.
There is a possibility of that. I'm not saying we can't. Of course there is. But if I told you, okay, I did the math, the trade chart. I heard other people talking about it. I did an investigation. We still owe a little bit in points, a little over 100 points. We're shy. But we could move up to number 6. Let's say Caleb Downs is on the board at 6. That's Cleveland. Okay, we move up from 12 to 6. We give up 12 and 20, but we get 39, which is top of the second round. So now
and what do we do with second round picks?
Okay, all right.
Okay, no. Here's my argument. Here, Bryan, you're pissing me off here. Okay,
here we go.
You're pissing me off here.
That's not enough. Okay, though, everybody.
Just listen to me for a second. One of the best defenses we've seen since the 85 Bears has to be the Legion of Boom, right? Right?
Yeah. Yes.
Do you know that their best edge rushers was Cliff Averill, who had 8.5 sacks, and Michael Bennett, who had, I believe, 9. When you looked at that defense, it wasn't like one stud guy. I mean, yeah, Richard Sherman was great. Cam Chancellor was great. Bobby Wagner. It was a lot of guys that were all really good.
See,
and that's the problem of this is the Cowboys' biggest problem is we are always so top heavy with Pro Bowlers that we get beat over the head because we got Dak, we got CD, we got George Pickens and things. But then we got sandbags. And then we got Kenneth Murray's out here. We've got absolute dogs.
That's a different story. Listen, I agree.
We need a lot of good players.
March 19th, you'll be live. I'll be live. Because as Mark says,
we're gonna be live. We gonna be live.
I'm going live on trade or free agency because it's over by then. You got to go live Monday, and I was always working Monday. Not this year. So we'll both be live.
You got to go on Sunday.
We're gonna know. Monday on the 19th. We're gonna know. Dallas has a lot to do with free agency to get to this point. But why do you pay top dollar for a draft? Like our whole draft staff, right? If we're not going to trust them, I'm telling you, this is a draft outside of Mendoza. He's going to go high. You know how that works. There's 3 players that are unbelievable. After that, it's literally, Mark, it's one of the next 50 players. Pick what flavor you like. There's not much difference. So if I told you get one of those that our staff has said, Bing, don't be afraid of Morris Claiborne.
You know what? No. Yeah, hold on. Again, I'm beefing today. Okay, I'm beefing bad. A few years back, God, why can't I think of his name right now? Kyle Pitts. DMV pounded my head. My God, we got to go get Kyle Pitts, man. He is unbelievable. He is the best. He's generational. He is what we got to have, man. Kyle Pitts will change everything for us, right? Right? He was like, we need to trade up and get that guy, right?
Even the best make mistakes.
Okay, right. But this is the problem. You're betting the mortgage.
He was right about Mozzie.
You're betting the mortgage payment. Huh? I didn't. I was
right about Mozzie.
Who was?
DMV. As soon as we took the pick,
he wasn't right about Kyle Pitts. Could you imagine if we moved up?
Had to go get a lollipop.
Okay. Again, blame me because it was one of those ones where I was just happy that we were trying to get a one technique guy. And I'm not the draft expert guy like, DMV that works with these guys and everything else. I was just happy that we got one. Hey, we got a one technique. They actually care about it for once. Here's why it could help us out. And I like Mozzie. His mom was really nice. I love her and everything else. But unfortunately, the dog couldn't hunt. The dog couldn't hunt, okay?
You threw a damn lollipop at Randy Stites. He got so mad at that pick.
Oh, my
I
God.
was willing to give it a shot. You went overboard and start. Next thing you know, you're at.
I'm like, hey, we got okay.
No. You were all up on his mom at your training camp. You had a mic in her face. What's up?
I was just, bro. I was just so happy that they were trying. It's just the problem is they just suck at suck at defense at drafting in the defense.
Oh Lord. Listen. I'm on board of making the team better. It starts in free agency, Mark.
It does.
So,
and they have to be players in here.
And if they don't, and this is one thing, I don't know if we're going to agree on this. I want them to not worry about the comp picks and the formula, because we all know the formula. If you lose a high price free agency, but you sign one, you get no comp pick. So they like to lose good players, pick up players on the cheap, and
so they don't lose the comp picks. Yeah.
F the comp picks. So is something we agree on?
Oh, I agree.
F the comp picks. Okay. F the comp picks. Please expound on that, because this team, they just continue to worry about the comp pick. We're going to know right away. If they don't do anything in the first 3 days, then they're playing the same old, same old. Maybe not to that extent. But.
Okay, but now I will say, here's my hope, because last year was the first year that they decided, let's get our guy signed that we believe in. They got Osa, didn't allow Osa to go out here and talk to other teams. They didn't let our kick returner go out there, right? They got those deals done ahead of time. If you remember, Randy Gregory got out there and he got the deal. Thank God he actually got the deal from Denver, because that would have been a nightmare. But Amari Cooper went to Washington.
Who did nothing in Denver. So
no, he didn't. He didn't. But I'm just saying that typically the Cowboys, they always seem like they want you to think that they're the smartest ones in the room. But I think they're really just idiots.
But here's my thing, though. I'll disagree with you on that. Dallas is pretty damn good on those 1-year deals. Because most of the time they get way more value, than what they paid for the player.
I hear you.
But that's not how you win a Super Bowl, because you need to overpay stupid money and get a guy that you know. And that brings me to my... I don't know how long you want to go. But that brings me to Demario Davis.
Okay, but hold it. Here's my beef with the Cowboys. Like I'm saying, that they're stupid. They wait till the end of training camp to decide, we need some help. Let's go sign somebody. They bring in Clowney after the season starts. And I was telling you this morning. It blew me away, because his first 5 games, he had 1 freaking sack. Because he wasn't in a training camp. He wasn't in shape. He didn't know the defense that they were trying to play, even though it was ass defense. The second half, the last 5 games of the season, he has 5 sacks.
Why is that? Explain to everybody why that could possibly be.
Well, because then they don't have to guarantee the contract, and it saves them some money.
Why did he play good in the second half of the season?
Because he finally was in shape. He finally understood the defense. Yes. And so when you think that Clowney, in his career, the best season he's had is 9.5 sacks, that coming in, he ended up getting 8.5. What if he had been there all off season? Maybe he gets over double-digit sacks. And he's a better player. The Cowboys, you remember when you kept talking about, we're going to sign Anthony Barr. We signed him in the middle of training camp with 1 leg.
Yeah.
You have to get these guys in here, get them coached up and working with the system. And the problem of bringing guys in for 1 year, I spend time teaching him how to be a player on my defense. Now he's gone. Now I'm bringing somebody else in. I got to do the same thing.
I agree.
If I have him there for 2 years, you already know. Now I can fine tune you to be a better player.
Now, I always view free agency kind of like Valentine's Day, right? I don't know. I'm an older guy, I think Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is just a money grab, everybody. But
I don't know. I was grabbing some stuff.
Pause. You still have to go and overspend for shit, right? You have to. That's how I feel like free agency is. You have to go out and spend stupid money. You may have to spend special money for a good player, but that's all part of it, especially when you don't have enough draft capital. outside of the 2 first-round picks. You have to. So I'm going to be holding this team accountable. You're going to see me upset again if we're not signing people.
This
many moves.
One of your people, Dallas Cowboy for Life, George. Appreciate the comment over there on Game Time Brian's. He said, why am I always bringing up the same talking points? He sounds like Cowboys haters. No, I am, as I look around here with all of the money in my life that has been spent with the Dallas Cowboys, if I see you making a mistake, I want to say I think you're making a mistake. Because clearly they ain't doing shit right because we're going on 31 years since we've been in the NFC Championship game. I'm sitting here looking at a team that I grew up seeing with the creamsicles, Tampa Bay, the joke of the NFL, get good, win a Super Bowl, become a joke again, come back and win a Super Bowl.
Right.
Okay?
Wow.
While I'm sitting here watching my Cowboys.
Well, we've seen that with the Eagles. We've seen that with the Rams. Gone through
Giants?
multiple regimes.
Giants
and winning
did.
Super Bowls. Well, listen, everybody busts on the Giants, but the Giants are the team in the NFC East who's won outside of the Eagles, they've had the most recent success. Even the 49ers haven't won a Super Bowl, right? Since we've won, correct?
Right.
They haven't won one since prior to that.
Right. Yeah.
So
in between ours.
Said it. The Commandos haven't won one since, So it's not easy, but I need my team to be better in the postseason. And
I got another little beef here. You know what the saddest thing is out here right now. I'm going to address right now is a person who knows so much knowledge about football, but does clown shit in between that you can't take them serious. The fact that you say that 11 of the years of the Cowboys' ineptitude are because of Dak Prescott. You can't put that on Dak Prescott this year. I'm sorry. Maybe you can put that on a couple of the years.
Maybe 2016, I would agree.
Okay.
That was a team that had everything.
Well, Dak did. Listen, in that game, going against Aaron Rodgers, Dak had 304 yards, 3 TDs.
Yeah, he played well. That was a great pass that was a day that will live in infamy for me for private reasons. If you know me, you know. But yeah, that was a bad. That was a bad day. Yeah.
Defense couldn't hold him.
That wasn't his fault.
Okay, but when you have somebody that says that 11 of the years, Dak's not perfect. I'm not going to say he is. But when I sit here and I look around the NFL right now and see that Kirk Cousins is probably going to get a starting job someplace, that Kyler Murray is going to be out on the market here to go someplace, that Tua, and I remember you saying we need to tank for Tua. I remember that. Oh, we need to tank for Tua.
He might be out there.
Tua is going to be out there.
Pick him up.
Right. I remember that. So don't act like I'm the only one that ever makes a mistake. Okay? Because Tua is going to be out there. This is the big musical set out here.
What's your comment to him, Ultra, where he says you need to draft a first-round quarterback? Now, let's just look at Super Bowl winners, okay? Let's look at who was in the playoffs this year.
Sam Darnold.
Matt Stafford, first-round pick.
Yeah.
The Super Bowl winner. Who was that? Sam Darnold, even though it took a while. First-round pick. Played Drake May, the top pick. Who else was in the playoffs?
But let me ask you this,
that's
though.
the thing, right?
But do you look at Sam Darnold, who led the league in turnovers? Do you look at that and say it was because of Sam Darnold?
No, absolutely not.
Because I'm looking at that defense.
The argument I make. That's the argument I make, Mark, to your defense is, look who just won the Super Bowl. Don't tell me Sam Darnold, because that's Trent Dilfer.
All over again.
That's Brad Johnson.
Yeah.
That's Philly.
Joe Flacco.
Nick Foles. That's Joe Flacco. It goes on and on. So for every, you got to have a stud, Troy Aikman. You have a Jalen Hurts, right? A second-round pick. Or you have, so I think it's a team game, and I get into this.
If the Eagles didn't the fact that the Eagles made the playoffs this year. Okay, think about it. There were games that the Eagles could not score points in the second half. 0. But their defense kept them relevant every single week. Now, that's not to say you don't want a quarterback who can ball. But if it's every week, we're only going to win or lose if the quarterback is perfect. You're not going anywhere. That's what we had with Tony Romo. That's exactly what we had. And people will say, well, Tony Romo sucked. He's a choker. Well, just like with Micah Parsons, if you put him in a situation where he's rushing the quarterback, he's going to be great. But if he's the only guy that you have to stop, and I can run the football,
he's not going to be disciplined to play the run because he's so worried.
He can't play the run. So you can scheme against one guy. Yeah, and you can say I can say Dak has failed. He's not good enough on his own to win a Super Bowl. But neither is Aaron Rodgers.
I made a statement last year, Mark.
Neither is Pat Mahomes.
Yeah.
Neither is Lamar Jackson.
When we decided to move on from D-Law and choose Micah over D-Law, I told my Eagle people, I said, go get D-Law. I said he plays the run just as well as he gets to the quarterback, and he's an all-around good player. He may get tired.
Yeah.
But outside of that was the type of guy, and look what happened. He goes to Seattle. He wasn't the star.
No, that's the thing, because people were pounding us over the head. You let go to D-Law. Well, he played 4 games the year before.
Right.
And hadn't had more than 6 sacks in 5 years.
Foot problems.
Right. So it's kind of like it wasn't. Most teams would probably have done the same thing.
You need those
hard-nosed and actually a team leader.
And I would argue maybe more of a, and that's why behind the scenes we all took Micah's, right? We all were going with the hot, shiny little item, little toy that was fun and sacks a lot, right? We should have been maybe taking it, or at least I should have maybe taken a step back and said, all right, slow down a little bit. Are we really going to move on from D-Law? Because now I would imagine everybody would love to have D-Law and his $14 million a year now.
Well,
right?
I think if they knew what was going to happen with Micah Parsons, they would have kept D-Law.
Cowboys.
I think part of that decision was Micah is now going to be our leader on our defense, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to clear the way for him by getting – because you remember when he wasn't re-signed, Micah Parsons was like, my time is now. And he was excited about being.
I'm getting more upset with this live stream the more it goes on.
No, that's what this is about. This is about getting angry, man.
Well, before we get out of here, and we're going to cut it off shortly. But
cut off at 3 o'clock.
Yeah, 3 o'clock. We're getting out of here. Here's my deal. Okay, what is stopping them from, if they want Javonte, get a deal done? I mean, there is no deadline to get a deal.
Mm-hmm.
What would that say if you got a deal with Javonte and you got a deal with George Pickens?
That would get Cowboy fans to buy in. That would be like.
What would that say? Why do we got to wait? Just meet with Mulligata. I know they have to meet at the combine. My last thought is, Mark, why are we doing the same old, same old? Why do we have to wait for the combine? Just get an effing deal done. Why?
Yeah.
That's what we used to do.
Bro. That's what I said to you this morning. I said, listen, just fact that you say, oh, we're going to franchise tag him just to buy some more time. For what? Are you going to learn something in the next month and a half about George Pickens? Because typically, here's what I know what happens when we do a franchise tag on people. D-Law says, fuck you. I'm not getting my shoulder done until I get my contract.
And then we have,
hey, I'm not going to show up. I'm going to go to Cabo. I'm going to go to Cabo and work out.
Yeah. You know what? I'm not even going to go. Well, you remember that the Cowboy offered D-Law $10 million.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But you brought up Cabo, and this is my final thought. I want to end it here. I watched something from Tom Brady, okay? Mm-hmm. Tom Brady. Yeah. He said what made him great was he would study better than anybody else. Mm-hmm. Okay, this is my problem. You brought up Cabo. Maybe if Tony Romo and Jason Witten weren't in effing Cabo, right? Because Tom Brady said for 2 weeks leading up to his last Super Bowl, he knew everything.
Yeah.
Everything about the other team, and he got to the line of scrimmage and knew what they were going to do before they did it, okay? And that's what separates. Yep. Tom Brady wasn't a great athlete, didn't have the best arm, but he was a winner because he would come to the line of scrimmage and knew exactly because he put the work in. Maybe if we had people who would do that and stop worrying about going to freaking Cabo.
Yeah, you can go to Cabo after the season's over. You couldn't wait a month?
Ask the Giants fans about going on the yacht.
Yeah.
On the yacht. How did that end up? Get your I just don't understand. That's the one thing about Max Crosby. Whoever gets him, he's in the building 6 o'clock in the morning every day, rehabbing. You know, that dude is a beast. So whoever gets him, if he stays, he may stay because it's going to be exciting. As you see, and I always tell Eagles through this, I don't want to hear we can't do something because the Super Bowl winner was a 4-win, Super Bowl runner-up was a 4-win team last year, along with the Chicago Bears. 4 wins last year, and they made a deep run.
Truth be told, though, game time, truth be told, New England had a cake schedule.
They did.
Okay, listen, 11 of the games that they played were against coaches that got fired.
So did the Niners.
Okay.
So did the Niners.
You know, and you look at that versus the schedule we had. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I hear you.
Those things do make a difference.
They still won in the playoffs, though.
They did.
Teams that didn't have an easy schedule. So that's it, everybody. That's the final word. Mark, you got a live stream coming up shortly. On
5 o'clock. We'll be back over here. I'll see if I can calm down. My head is smoking right now here.
Well, this is just the beginning. We're going to do this a few times before the draft, leading up to the draft that we're going to. More to come on that. But, you know, we'll do this. We just scratched the surface. So thanks, everybody. Mark, final words before we get out of here, bro.
Keep hating. Keep hating. I'm just looking at the comments about how much, lead commander. I don't know how a damn Commander fan can talk about somebody else's quarterback when you guys have had more quarterbacks than you can shake a stick at, that y'all done ended more careers, and the jury's out on your guy after having a one-hit season. But keep hating. Keep hating, okay? Appreciate it, though.
Yeah, I'll be on with Mark a little later, and then I'll probably do something later this evening for a channel member Zoom. Rob's going to be mad because I didn't let him in, but this wasn't that type. We will have time tonight, and I'm off tomorrow. Plenty of time. All right, everybody. Talk to you later.
Peace out.
Bye.
Peace out, people. Love you, and we're gone.